Joe. Thanks for joining us. Such an important week for your team.
Good to see you, Morgs. Very important week.
Yeah, the big thing I suppose for you is when you became the Wallaby coach, when you were entrusted with the boss of being the Wallabies, was this very much in mind, the Lions series? It's here right now.
Yeah, and so that seemed a little way off when I first kind of agreed to do my best to help out, and a big part of that help out was to try to create some sort of momentum into the Lions where people could have some confidence around the Wallabies being able to perform in those 3 upcoming huge tests that they are.
And we just heard from Finn Russell. He's very keen to obviously get to test week. They get a 7-day prep. They've got their 5 tour matches out of the way. What have you noticed? One about him, who you probably expect to face this weekend, but also the Lions in general.
Yeah, Finn, I've been coaching against Finn for a long time with the Irish team, the All Black team versus Scotland a couple of years ago. So he's got the full bag of tricks. You know, his passing game is second to none. His ability to see space, play to it off the foot or through the hands, and he tends to stack really well and get involved in play whichever way you don't want him to be, because he tends to load up and get the right players playing around him. You know, and I think his combination with the likes of Hugh Jones after Gary Ringrose was ruled out, those two will be a very, very dangerous combination, I think.
Anything else you've noticed as a general thing about this 2025 Lions? Obviously, you know Andy so well. I said the same thing to Finn. It's a bit of an oversimplification to say it's an Irish attack, but they brought that to it. Is it a little bit of what you expected?
Yeah, there's a lot of what we expected, but they've had some nice special plays, some special plays that have brought them reward. And so I've no doubt that they've got a few up their sleeve that we haven't seen. And so while you're preparing and you're looking at what they have done, you know what they're going to do may not look exactly the same. So we've just got to prepare ourselves and try to be watertight as best we can, and also try to put pressure on them as best we can. They've gone very hard at the breakdown, so we know if we're going to sustain our play, it's going to be difficult.
Well, you mentioned breakdown. It seemed to be such a focus point, one in all games of rugby these days, but this series so far, very adept at putting numbers in without the ball when they need to slow down ball, but also generating fast ball. Is there anything you've noticed around the way the breakdown's been refereed or the way the Lions are approaching it that you've learnt will help you this week?
Not really what we've learnt. A lot of it is packaged in what those northern teams do anyway, and last season obviously we played England, Scotland, Ireland and Wales, so we played each of those teams and found that they did similar things, and they did similar things really well, which made it difficult for us to build continuity. So we've got some ideas how best we cope with that, and I'm sure they're aiming up at us, and they've got something cooked up that's similar.
Yeah, when you talk about what you've seen from them in the Northern Hemisphere teams, but then the other side of it is the players perhaps you sent back to those tour matches. Anyone jump out and impress you?
Yeah, there's a few. Obviously, we left a few in Perth for the first game, and then guys going back and forth, and you know, I asked them how did it feel out there. What did you think they were trying to achieve? Those sorts of things. Obviously, we get a 2-dimensional screen that gives us an indication, but they give a bit of a 3-dimensional picture with what it was like on the field at the time. So, yeah, a few hints about the pressure points they felt and the pressure they felt they could exude over the lines.
Here we are Tuesday afternoon after your preparation this morning. Obviously Will Skelton and Rob Valentine were out of the Newcastle game. Are they available for selection this week?
Yeah, they've got through. Obviously Will trained fully today, so he's a bit further ahead from Rob, but Rob, you know, he's hitting 90% speeds plus. So it's a look at how they go Thursday, and that'll springboard selection from there.
And how much of it is, you know, you've got 2 more tests afterwards, you know you've got a big test calendar after that as well with Rob Valentine. Yeah. Can you afford to pick a Rob Valentine who's not 100%? Yeah,
and not only that, you want to show confidence in the guys who are training really well and training hard. So it's always a balance that is that there's no solution to, but you just got to find an answer amongst the coaches and then make a decision and go with it and show the confidence in whichever player does get picked.
Selection's such a theme for both teams this week. Andy Farrell has that embarrassment of riches in the back row. Valentine, we're not quite sure about. Philosophically, would you ever consider the two sevens together, maybe a Tazana Mick Wright, or are you very much about, I need a bigger body or I need the line out of you? How do you look at that selection drama?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit horses for courses. We ended up with those two on the pitch at the same time against the Fijians in the last quarter, so that was dipping our toe in for that sort of selection. Because Carlo's had such a good season, Fraser was such a big part of our group last year, and we've tried to keep some continuity in that group just because we didn't see them for 6 months. To try to hit the ground running is very difficult if you're making lots of changes.
Yeah. Well, I suppose there is, the Lions have had 5 matches in 2 weeks, plus that Argentina match, of course.
Yeah.
You've had 1 test match. Which is the better prep? They've almost had too many, you've perhaps not enough.
Yeah. I think with who they had coming in and the strength and depth they have, they can afford to have that many. I'm not sure we'd want that many. We'd become a little bit diluted potentially if we were stacking that many matches up, and that's always a risk. You want to get fully prepared. Do I feel like we're a little bit underdone? I probably do in some ways, especially when you've only had 1 game together and then you're trying to put the biggest effort you can into what will be a huge challenge.
Yeah. And then off the back of that first Fiji match that you did have, you lose Noel Olasio and you bring in James O'Connor. Obviously, changes some plans, but James O'Connor, how's his first few days in camp been?
Yeah, very good. He's had a split above the eye. And
Will Skelton tried to say it was you yesterday in the press conference.
Well, there's been a little bit, just because we haven't played for so long. There was 1 session where there was a little bit of contact, and that we wouldn't tend to do too much normally from match week to match week, but we'd done so little together. James has slotted in really well. I do think he's helping our halves and bringing his, I suppose, vision to what he sees at training and what he sees in the game.
Yeah, we're Tuesday afternoon. You're preparing them for this first Lions test at Suncorp. There's a couple of 100 tickets left to sell. What's keeping you up at night at the moment? What's the worry of a head coach these days on a Tuesday?
Getting everyone fit and well through to the end of the week. I don't think we need to worry too much about the emotional upswing, the psychological upswing toward the end of the week. It's mainly keeping people calm, keeping them process focused, rather than getting them over energized around that I suppose anxiety that might be there, or that excitement that may be there. And geez, it doesn't take much to keep me awake at night. So there's a plethora of things, to be honest.
Yeah. That's the life of a head coach, I suppose.
Yeah.
Heard Maro Itoje yesterday talk about they're very aware of how much support they're going to have. We saw it in Adelaide.
Yeah.
It's built again already the first few days here in Brisbane. They talk about their sea of red. We know the stories about the Gabba in 2001, those things. They'll get that, but Wallabies fans, they're excited as well. That's what we've seen. What do you ask of the Wallabies fans the next few days, and also Saturday night at Suncorp?
Yeah, we were really surprised in Newcastle. Well, maybe not so surprised, but delighted with the way people got out and supported. And we saw, it's the most yellow I've seen, the most gold, old jerseys, new jerseys, all sorts of jerseys that I've seen since I started. And that's going back to some big tests we had with big stadiums last year. But in McDonald Jones last week, 2 weeks ago, almost week and a half, that was great support. And just seeing that, even on the bus on the way in, it's one of the things the leaders commented to me on is that they could visually sense the support just in the team bus on the way into the stadium. So we'd love to see that, obviously. We know it's going to be a mix of red and gold, and we want to make sure we earn the gold support that we are going to get, and that's why they've been working hard the last couple of weeks.
Well, here we are, Tuesday afternoon. I'm already excited for Saturday. We just want to wish you all the best for the weekend.
Thanks,
so
Morgs.
much of us are behind you. We'll try and be impartial in commentary, but we'll be supporting you. Best of luck this weekend.
Thanks, Morgs.
That's it for the show this afternoon.